tires. Start your engine!
It's MRN Motorsports Monday, the place for the latest news and loudest opinions, direct from the guys at the track. Presented by Outback Steakhouse. This program is rated VNGSN and may contain scenes of verbal nonsense and graphic shenanigans. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oscar, my baloney has a first name.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Pace car is on.
Here's Woody Cain
Everyone knows your name, Woody.
and Joey Meier.
I forgot I was Joey. I'm Spotter. Sorry. First problem solved. Nice job.
Welcome back to another edition of MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse, following the STP 500 at Martinsville Speedway. I'm Woody, he's Joey, and congratulations. You guys go for the victory, second of the year, first team to get there at Martinsville Speedway. Everybody's having fun with the grandfather clock, and where is it?
Tick-tock. It was a little big. Bama brought it home on the hauler. It's sitting safely back at the race shop. But we do have a little tiny replica. I appreciate you guys giving me that. What a fantastic afternoon. A number of hurdles for Ford, first time being in victory lane since 2002, the 70th year anniversary for Martinsville Speedway, the 1000th win, a race for Penske Racing that we were able to do. But most importantly, it was Brad's first time being in victory lane with Paul Wolf and the Miller Lite guys. You felt like we were always knocking on the door all the time in either parts failures or being collateral damage with somebody else's wreck. But after yesterday's event, a little pit road speeding penalty, but be able to come back from that and battle a fantastic battle with Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch there at the end, and we end up in victory lane with those guys. It was a fantastic evening and something you'll cherish for the rest of your life. It's one of those monumental races. Again, like Brad said, 70 years that place has been there, and a number of big-name drivers have won at Martinsville. Now you can add Brad Keselowski to that list.
Speaking of Brad, he was on the Motor Racing Network from victory lane after winning the STP 500.
What a way to go to victory lane. Edsel's first time here at Martinsville in the 1000th Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race for Team Penske.
I forgot all about that. Thank you for reminding me. But, this is a really special track to everyone on the circuit. It's been here for 70 years, and I hadn't won here, but I've been close, Winston. And, we pushed really hard here today and the last few times to try to get it. And it seems like we just come up a little bit short. And finally, we bring it home today. And this was certainly an earn it day. Kyle drove a great race, and it was a pleasure racing with him. And tough competition all the way around. But, man, this is such a special place to race and special to win at for sure.
Describe the racing with Kyle. He got by you. What allowed him to do that? And then your pass to get back around him, and then you just drove away.
Yeah, we just had he had such a great short-run car. We had a great long-run car, and it was just part of the dynamics of racing. He did a great job, and certainly our team did too.
And at the checkered flag up there, tick-tock, tick-tock. What does that mean?
So much. It's great. Those clocks are made in my hometown in Michigan, and finally I get to bring one home.
There you go, Brad Keselowski with the clock. And what a cool note that the clocks are actually made in his hometown. But what jumped out at me primarily about this, and we talked about this before the show, did you ever think you would go to Martinsville Speedway and search for a line?
No, one of the things we heard all afternoon was how wide the track got. It is our shortest track we race on, Martinsville, built back in 1947 and had a couple of configuration changes. We have concrete corners from the entry to the exit that are about 2.5 grooves wide. We consistently run that inside line, and we very rarely search around. Yesterday, with the tire that Goodyear brought, it showed little wear, very little dusting or bubbles, balls of rubber rolling up on the track. So you were able to actually widen those turns out, very unusual. And we saw grooves 1, 2, and almost a third lane being utilized.
We saw plenty of three-wide racing at the end of the stages.
Yep, and the reason we know it was a good race, People were mad.
Exactly right. We got a big program for you on MRN Motorsports Monday today. Don't forget to go by Outback Steakhouse. Visit Joey Menu. It's not about you. It's about the kids.
We're celebrating.
Yeah, we are. We'll talk more about that as we continue on. But Jeremy Bullins is going to be here. He's the crew chief for Ryan Blaney, and they're off to a strong start this season. We'll break down everything that happened at Martinsville and look ahead at Texas a little bit. It's all on Motorsports Monday. Stay right there.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Where will you be when NASCAR comes to Chicago's fastest loop? 4 days of racing, tailgating, camping, and music. Come to Chicagoland Speedway September 14th through the 17th. Tickets for Sunday Chicagoland 400 are available now. Camping spots are available and selling fast. All kids tickets $25 off adult price and free on certain race days. Get your tickets and campsite now at ChicagolandSpeedway.com. Chicagoland Speedway, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs start here.
1 to go. Brad Keselowski, one more trip around Martinsville Speedway to pick up the win.
Off turn number 2 to the back straightaway for the final time. Team Penske and the Miller Lite Ford on their way to collect the grandfather clock. Brad Keselowski off turn number 4.
It will be career win number 22 for Brad Keselowski across the stripe. The checkered flag is out, and Brad Keselowski has won the STP 500.
Joe Moore, Dave Moody, and Jeff Striegel on Motor Racing Network Sunday, the STP 500 from Martinsville Speedway. Welcome back to Motorsports Monday. And Joey, one of the things we were talking about before we went to a break about the dynamic of how this race broke down, we didn't see the little marbles of tire up there. We did see guys being able to go as much as 3 wide at the end of these stages to compete, and that's not something you normally see at Martinsville.
No, anytime you can widen the racing groove, whether it's at a 1.5 or 2 mile track or even as small as a 1/2 mile track at Martinsville, the racing becomes better because guys can move around. Even Kyle Busch mentioned it during his post-race.
Assess your second place run here today. What more did you need when battling head-to-head with the number 2 car?
Just a normal set of tires. You know, we put on a set of tires there at the end that weren't the same as the ones that we took off, and you know, just slowed the car down minimum 3/10 that whole entire last run. We just had no speed in the center of the corner and couldn't maintain the drive off that we needed to on the long runs either. So we're hurting it really bad there. You know, the M&M's guys did a great job. Adam and everybody on this team did a great job giving me a car capable of winning. It's just frustrating when you come down pit road and you don't make any changes and you bolt a set of tires on it and it goes to junk, you know. So,
despite the set of tires you're talking about, what was the track like with the new rubber, the different conditions?
Well, if the tires were consistent, they'd be fantastic, you know. Goodyear brought an awesome tire that laid rubber down that we could all move around the racetrack. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the outside lane here work, but I was doing it earlier on in the race. Once the track really got rubbered in, it was fun to be able to run the outside, the edge of the concrete, you know, and have some time up there, be able to make some time up there while the rest of the guys were kind of slipping around the bottom. So that was interesting and fun in its own self, and able to move around here. So that made Martinsville pretty racy.
It sure was pretty racy, and one of the things we talked about as well was at the end of these stages, for anybody who's not enjoying the stages, what more do you want right now? I mean, you had people going 3 wide. You had guys really trying to get in that top 10 or win or advance their position within it every time we got to the end of a stage.
When you see as a runner and you're looking ahead and you're running a marathon, you know, miles 15, 16, 17 become grueling. But when you can see that tape sitting in front of you and you're running towards that tape, you find some extra energy, your adrenaline boost. We have that as race car drivers now. We count down our stage laps. We saw the mayhem right in front of the leaders of those guys trying to battle for position to stay in front of the other guy because they knew the leader was coming. They were battling for that free pass position and trying to stay on the lead lap. Kyle was trying to give him room and was actually trying to be a nice guy and ended up passing Ricky Stenhouse there coming to the green checker for the end of the stage. Stenhouse pushed him up the track because he knew that was how important it was. He ends up finishing top 10. That one move at the first stage accumulates the efforts all the way to the end of 500 laps, and he's able to stay on the lead lap for a top 10.
Are you surprised at how desperate is not the right word, aggressive may not be the right word, but somewhere in the middle these stages have become? Because at the beginning of the year, a lot of guys were going, yeah, it's pretty good and it's kind of cool, but we won't really go that hard for it. They're going for it now.
You know, because you have that goal. You're not going to get a random caution or a caution clock's going to run out. You know that yesterday was lap 140 or lap 170 and 260, whatever the case may be. We know that's a goal. And anytime as a driver or in a race team, you've given us a goal, we're going to shoot for it. So either you're going to try to stay on the lead lap when your car's not handling very well, or you're going to push forward and try to get those valuable bonus points and possibly win the stage, because that one bonus point might mean the difference of going to Homestead and not.
Yeah, and you guys actually have a couple of wins now, so that'll help pay off toward the end of the season, and you get to carry those points with you through the playoffs, and they accumulate. But let's talk a little bit now about some things that are going pretty well and some things that aren't going quite so well in our on-track, off-track segment. Let me start with off-track. We'll talk a little bit more about the trucks later on, but the Camping World Truck Series came back after several weeks off. They didn't go on the whole Western swing. Have a good race, a really solid race on Saturday. That one was a lot of fun too, and now they're off again for a month until we go back to Kansas. I wish there was some way that the schedule could work that we wouldn't see these huge gaps in their schedule, because right when they get a little momentum, they're out of sight, out of mind for a while.
Yeah, they're trying to give the teams some opportunities to catch up. Lower funded teams, Truck Series Racing, they don't have quite the budgets. The third of the budget of a Sprint Cup, Monster Energy Cup series would have. So they're trying to give them a break to catch up. But the breaks that we're giving them 4, 5, and 6 weeks at a time is simply too long. Yeah. We had a very adventurous day of BKR. Austin Cindric, myself, went from really a 0 on Saturday to hero on Sunday. So that's how quick the opportunities were. But Martinsville was a great race, but it was only race number 3. The Cup guys are already at race number 6, and then by the time we get to our 4th truck race in Kansas, we're going to be almost race number 10 in the Monster Energy Cup Series. So we need to definitely condense it. Again, years ago, we used to race in January in the Truck Series and spread it all the way through November. We definitely, I believe the breaks are warranted, but not 5 and 6 weeks at a time.
Yeah, it's just too much. All right, well, what jumped out at you from the weekend?
You know, for years, we have this really nice facility in Charlotte, and we're trying to get people to a track. We're called the World Center of Racing and Motorsports Racing towns and cities. We're big into racing here in North Carolina.
The World Center of Racing is Daytona. Come on now, hold on.
Well, what I'm getting at is we do a lot of racing here in North Carolina. It's the home of racing is what we consider.
Teams are based here. Yeah.
Every time we have a banquet, it's not in our own state. We've all talked about it. They built a really nice facility. Well, word is being leaked out now, and it's just about confirmed that we are going to be able to have our banquet for the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series here in Charlotte. And I think that's a fantastic thing. When we talk about having to enjoy the environment you're in, what better way to enjoy it than where you live?
Yeah, that'll be really cool. And there might be a little bit of get to sleep in our own beds thing going on there, but we'll take it whenever we can.
Absolutely.
Like when we come to Charlotte to race for 2 weeks and you get a couple weeks off.
A couple of vacation weeks.
Yeah,
exactly
that's really
right.
cool. It's
yeah,
a lot of fun. All right, speaking of fun, one of the things that was really cool over the weekend is Joey Logano played kind of an early April Fool's joke on Claire B. Lang at Sirius XM and pretended to just be a fan. We'll step away after this, but we wanted to show you this on the way out. Jeremy Bullins will join us on the other side. He's the crew chief for Ryan Blaney. But watch Joey Logano.
To move on. That's the reason, and that's what I'm told.
Yeah.
But you know, the people wanted to have their be qualifying here.
Yeah.
But we did have some rain today, and it's a bummer.
Yeah, well, hot dog. I mean, speaking of hot dogs, I had about 3 of those Martinsville hot dogs today, and they're great. But who do you think would have got the pole if they qualified, Claire?
I don't know. I'm not really good at speculating, but I can say to you, Ben, in Martinsville, that you are very astute, because the one crew chief, and you'll hear this interview coming up, who was really bummed about not qualifying, who do you think it was? What crew chief?
I'm pretty sure it's Ty Gordon. Ty Gordon knows he had a fast race car today.
It was, and he qualified 5th.
Oh, well, they had that string of 3 poles in a row, and I know they got beat by, I think it was Truex last time by like 8 thousandths for the 4 in a row. Sometimes after these races, instead of a grandfather clock, I think they should be handing out a cuckoo clock, you know?
That's what they should do, right? If it's really a crazy race, then absolutely go that direction. Ben, you saved your best line for last. That was really good.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I'm on that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse.
If you or your family love the freedom of swimming any time of year, if you love sharing good times and making great memories, or if you want one of the best total body workouts ever, then it's time to discover the 3 C's of your very own endless pool. The first C is convenience. Imagine swimming year-round in your own private swimming pool, installed indoors or out, just steps away. The second C is comfort. With sculpted spa seats and your own adjustable temperature, you can easily escape the stress of your day. And the third C is cost. Your endless pool is an affordable luxury at a fraction of the cost of a regular pool. And here's a bonus C, choice. Because when you call for your free Endless Pool Idea Kit, you'll receive information on our full line of pools to suit your budget and location.
Call now for free information. 800-283-8089. 800-283-8089.
I'm Ryan Blaney, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with championship spotter Joey Meier and Woody Cain. Had world-class Joey Meier. I don't want to say that. It's on radio. You guys need to use that.
Take 2.
To MRN Motorsports Monday with championship spotter and adequate pilot Joey Meier and Woody Cain.
That one always makes me laugh. Adequate pilot.
Adequate.
He loves giving you junk, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk to his crew chief. Jeremy Bullins is the crew chief on the number 21 Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford from the Wood Brothers. After their race at Martinsville yesterday, he joins us on the guest line. And Jeremy, not necessarily the race you would have hoped for yesterday. A lot of people can say that with you, but a strong start to the season. You guys are top 10 in the standings. Tell us how you've gotten there.
Well, I think, you look at yesterday as a perfect example. It wasn't the end result we wanted, but we had a fast car. I think we finished the second segment in 5th, ran top 10 a lot. We got to start 7th because of where we were in points, which is another testament to the season we've had. We've had some really good runs, and the cars are great, obviously, and Ryan's doing a great job, and his experience of going back to some of these places, is really starting to pay off.
Jeremy, we just got done talking about the new stage format we've seen in 2007 in the Monster Energy Cup Series.
Wait. You're a decade off. It's 2017.
17.
There
well,
you go.
I had everything else correct.
Yeah, you did. Just one digit.
Yeah, that's the perfect thing about live radio is you can make a mistake and just ignore it and just keep rolling on through. But we have those new stages in 2017. As a crew chief, when you look at the race, how do you approach those stages, and do you concern yourself with getting those bonus points?
Absolutely, we do. I think yesterday is a perfect example of, we got torn up, got damaged. We finished 25th, but because we were in the top 10 in both the segments, we got 10 or 11 segment points, and we held our position in the point standing. So we gave up a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as it would have been had we not had those points. So it can kind of save your day a little bit. It's not the ending you want, but to get those points at some point throughout the day certainly helps your cause.
Chatting with Jeremy Bullins, the crew chief for Ryan Blaney at the Wood Brothers team, the number 21 car, the Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford. And speaking of that, Jeremy, have you been surprised by the intensity of the stage racing here? A lot of guys in the beginning of the season, it seemed like, weren't expecting it to be this intense as we've seen in the first handful of races so far.
I'm not surprised by it. I mean, I feel like that was the intent, was to create some urgency early in the race. And I think once people realized, there's a lot of points on the line and how that can play out for you, it pushes you to make those decisions. And you saw some of that with, guys staying out and different pit calls towards the end of the segments yesterday. So, I think that was the idea, right? And it seems to be working.
Yeah, 2 top stage finishes yesterday, getting collateral damage in the Martinsville race. But as a whole, how was your performance before the collateral damage came about?
We were having a really good day. I think we started 7th, drove up to the top 5. First pit stop, we had a little issue on the pit stop. I think we restarted 16th and drove back to 7th by the end of the segment. Pitted. Actually, we stayed out between the segments because we pitted before the end of the first one. Restarted. I can't remember exactly where we restarted, but we settled into 5th there and finished 5th in the second one. So I felt like we had a solid top 5 car, and we were a little bit out of sync on tires with a couple guys ahead of us there at the end of the second segment. So I felt like if we could have got our track position back, we could compete, and it was very cool to see that out of Ryan. He did a really nice job yesterday for his 3rd Cup race there. I told him it was night and day from last year. He could tell he had figured out how to get around the place, and it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, solid rookie season in 2016 with Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. Now in 2017, when you talk about Ryan Blaney's experience, what do you look forward? When do you think a win's coming? I mean, what do you see in him that's changed from 2016?
Well, I think, even from 15 to 16, the places that we went back to were our best races. Just having gone through it, knowing how the race plays out, knowing what your car needs to feel like in practice to be good in the race. And that's something we talked about after the race yesterday was, we got a better idea of how to practice. And that's so key to being fast in the race of, all right, we can build off this. We can learn from what we learned this weekend. And, I think that's the key to it is just getting time and getting races under your belt and understanding how they play out. And, I feel like such a big part of it is just, I keep saying experience, but that's really what it is. Our team is coming together really well. Everybody's working really well together. Our pit crew can compete with anybody, and we're getting to a point where we feel like we can compete. And to sit here and say a win is going to come this week or next week, I don't like making those predictions. I just feel like if we continue to get better the way we have so far, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it really does. It really does feel that way. But in addition to that, Jeremy, how much of a factor has it been that you guys are full-time with the Wood Brothers now, where you were ratcheting up over the past several seasons, and in the new shop closer to Team Penske that you guys have an affiliation with? How much of a factor has all that been to help you get to where you are now?
Well, certainly being closer shop-wise is a big help because it makes it a lot easier to go back and forth or go get parts or go, just go talk to those guys and see what they're doing and making sure that we're on the same page and that kind of stuff. We're able to spend more time close by, so that's nice. But certainly, when you look at it, the Wood Brothers had a different alliance before the Penske thing started. So when the Penske thing started in 2015, it was basically like starting from the ground up. They had their equipment, but from a car perspective and a team perspective, there was a few of those guys that were still there, but our engineers and all that kind of stuff. We built a team, and to be sitting here a little over a year and a half into it, to feel like we can compete for wins is a good feeling, knowing that we're headed down the right path with all that. And it took a lot of work to get there, but we feel like we're starting to pay that off.
Yeah, sitting solidly in the top 10 in points in the Monster Energy Cup Series. We have a unique opportunity this weekend to go to Texas. It's a repave, which doesn't sound very unique, other than the fact that nobody has seen the track. Goodyear is bringing a kind of an unknown tire that they think is going to work. As a crew chief, how do you approach Texas when you've never seen the place?
Well, we've talked about it a lot, myself and engineers, of how to attack this, and one of the things that we've looked at a lot, to be honest with you, is Kentucky last year, because it was kind of reconfigured, repaved, all that kind of stuff. Look at things that we did there. I feel like that'll play into. We were really fast there, had a really good race car. Feel like that'll play in a little bit. Kind of, use our simulation tools to make our best guess of what the racetrack's going to be like, and to generate a kind of a best guess track map to work from, and we'll come up with what we feel like is the best setup we can to start with. And we've got some extra practice that NASCAR's given us to try to get our hands around it pretty quickly. And I feel like if you look at it as a whole, the faster repave racetracks, the Michigans, Kentucky, Kansas, those are places that Ryan runs really well at. So, I feel like it's right in our wheelhouse this weekend. I feel really good about it.
Should be a lot of fun to watch for sure. The first part of the season has been definitely, and you guys are sitting 7th in the standings and a strong campaign going on. Jeremy Bullins is the crew chief for Ryan Blaney on that Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford at the Wood Brothers. And Jeremy, man, we really appreciate your time. Congratulations on all the hard work that's paying off for you guys right now.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Get back to work.
There you go, Jeremy Bullins. And that's good to see. We've talked about this many times on the show, to where you see a team, a guy just start to click, and that light bulb starts going off, and things start happening at the right time in the right way, and they start climbing that ladder. That's exactly where they are.
Ryan's been racing in the Cup Series for around 4 years. We've only got 1 full year behind the wheel of a full season. Interesting stat is Jeremy Bullins has 1 full season behind him. So him and Ryan Blaney and that entire team are growing as a unit. And we've talked team on this show 100 times. And if you haven't seen previous shows, you can go back to the YouTube channel and catch all these.
Very nice.
However, they're growing as a team. Jeremy's learning as a crew chief, but now he has the reliance of Todd Gordon and Paul Wolfe. Those bookends around him, whenever he needs information, Ryan Blaney can bounce ideas off of Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski, who've been okay in the series so far.
Hey, you think
for those
pretty
guys.
good, yeah.
And that shows the solidification of those three people as a team, even though it's a
solidification.
Solidification.
I like it. That's nice.
I said in betwixt earlier in the Sunday's event.
Okay, good.
Anyway, you see the solidification of those three guys as a team, and they're growing together, and the results are definitely there.
Yeah, it sure is, and absolutely a good start to them, 7th in the overall standings. Kyle Larson leads by 4 over Chase Elliott, then it's 32 back to Martin Truex Jr., 34 back to you guys in the 4th position. We've got a little bit more on Motorsports Monday. We'll take a look ahead at Texas after this.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
You're smart, got your own trucking business, making it happen. What if I told you there was a place online where you could connect with other smart owner-operators just like you? It's an online community called Team Run Smart, where people share advice on truck maintenance, fuel savings, healthy habits on the road, and so much more, all to make your business more profitable. And it's all free. Visit teamrunsmart.com today to check it out. You'll be glad you did. teamrunsmart.com, brought to you by Freightliner Trucks.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevate your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Keselowski to the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to slide up. Newman is there. Sideways is Keselowski.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
The white flag is in the air. Chase Elliott less than a half mile from going to victory lane.
Final time down the back straightaway. No challengers on the horizon. Chase Elliott into turn 3. He'll look for the checkered flag.
Coming up off of turn number 4, he's got an opportunity to take a grandfather clock home. Chase Elliott wins the Alpha Energy Solutions 250 at Martinsville Speedway as they wreck further back in turn 4.
Chase Elliott in victory lane at Martinsville Speedway as the Camping World Truck Series makes their return to action now. They'll be back at Kansas, several races down the road, a month off for those guys. A fun truck race. It really was a lot of fun, and it kind of was a precursor of what was to come on Sunday.
Those darn Cup guys ruining the truck race. But no, Chase Elliott and Johnny Sauter had an immense battle. Teammates over at GMS. The BKR guys, we had a little bit of a struggle. I was working with Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe, 2 rookies that had not seen the place under race conditions, but one time between the two of them. Austin Cindric ran really good in 2015, didn't have the result that showed, but we ran top 5 or 6 all afternoon.
Everybody was mad at Austin Cindric after the race.
We were very, after the race, we got entangled up with some leaders thinking we were blocking the leaders, and we weren't. I was actually preaching him to protect the bottom lane because we were racing the 63 to stay on the lead lap, or if the leaders passed us, to be a free pass. So what everybody thought we were doing, blocking the leaders, had nothing. We weren't talking about blocking the leaders. We were simply talking about maintaining that bottom lane. Well, unfortunately, the leader wanted the bottom lane as well, and we occupied the same space at the same time, which you can't do with 3,000-pound race cars.
No, you can't.
If you're walking down the hallway and somebody tries to move out of your way and you move out of their way and you're in each other's way again.
There's no more ways.
That's simply what happened going into turn 1. We felt bad that we affected the outcome of the race and essentially took T.J. Bell's opportunity to win that race at Martinsville.
No, not T.J. Bell. Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell, thank you, the fork truck
that would
over
be
at
big
KBM.
news.
Yes. So it was one of those bad circumstances, but realistically, it wasn't our intent to block the leader. It was our intent to keep racing the 63, and that's the way it went.
All right, here's what Chase Elliott said from victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, we were, Johnny was coming, and I had been trying to pressure him for laps and laps and laps, and those, that's one downfall when you are the leader, is you just can't control what those guys are going to do ahead of you. And Johnny was coming to pressure me, and it was time to either go or not at that point, because I didn't know how long I could hold him off, having a little fresher tire and whatnot. So it was a fun race. I hope the fans enjoyed it. I know I was trying all I could, and this racetrack, the way it's taking rubber, I think is going to be a great show tomorrow afternoon.
There you go. Chase Elliott goes to victory lane. He said on post-race on Sunday that he felt like that helped him out a little bit along the way.
Yeah, no, it was a good all-round weekend. Truck Series on Saturday and Cup Series on Sunday. We go from our shortest track. Now we go to a super high-speed track. Brand new pavement. Teams have never seen it. New pavement, different corners between 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Eddie Gossage, those guys have a heck of a weekend coming up.
Don't forget NASCAR Live Tuesday nights at 7. Also NASCAR USA on Sundays across many of these same network stations. We will be back with you in a couple of weeks on the Motor Racing Network, but don't forget Joey and I will be right back here next Monday for another edition of Motorsports Monday to kind of take a look at what happened at Texas, and this is going to be crazy. Nobody has seen this track.
It's an interesting prospect for these race teams. We heard Jeremy Bullins talk about simulation. That's the closest they're going to get to being on the racetrack until the cars physically get on Texas Motor Speedway with brand new pavement.
A couple of guys have looked at it from JTG Doherty Racing. Yep. AJ Allmendinger and Chris Buescher got to ride around in some pace cars out there, but that's about as advanced as the information is. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Motorsports Monday. I want to thank Jeremy Bullins for being with us. He's Joey. I'm Woody. We'll see you right back here next week.
MRN Motorsports Monday is presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in every Monday for another exciting episode right here on MRN.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network.